whoa. If you haven't seen Fairy Lights in the Doorway already, before watching this behind the scenes, this is going to be major spoilers. So go and watch Fairy Lights in the Doorway first, watch the film, and then come back and rewatch the behind the scenes, okay? Because I ain't gonna take that. Pre-production is first. Pre-production took about 3 months. I came up with the idea probably about 3 years ago, actually. I wrote a script and then I just kept on rewriting it and kept on giving it to people, seeing what they thought, just trying to make the story a bit better, trying to add more detail. The storyboard was originally actually going to be an animatic, but it was taking too long, basically. I kind of had like a rough image of what the film was going to look like in my head anyway, but then I came up with the storyboard after reading the script, and then I just basically looked at what I was meant to be showing and what the general feel was of that shot, and like what was happening in that shot, who was in that shot, and what was the best way that I can shoot this to like bring out the most emotion in it. Getting the cast and crew together, it's very difficult to ask people to do things for you, so I don't really tend to like to do it, but if you know a lot of people are in the filmmaking world and all of that kind of stuff, then people in general, they just want to make films. Just ask people. They could either be, you know, sitting at home on their asses eating popcorn watching a movie, which sounds glorious, but they could be doing something productive like helping you make your film, so it's up to them in the end, but I would always go for the filmmaking option, to be honest. For the cast, I basically had to put out a call on so many websites. Casting Call Pro probably got so many applications. I went through literally all of them, and there was probably about 130 in total. And then I basically just got maybe about 6 people for each role. Yeah, so we did like a Skype audition kind of thing, and then basically that gave me a clear idea of who I wanted. And the 2 guys that got the roles kind of knew the character without me even explaining it to them, and that's probably like the main reason why I chose them, and they already knew each other, like, just so happened, which was actually perfect. So I mean, the 2 best friends in the film were already really good friends in real life. I mean, they're gonna have like a bit of a banter relationship anyway, so that's gonna show in the film. Oh my god. And then after that we organised a script reading session where basically I met up with the 2 guys, went over the script. So that meant that basically when they got to the shoot, they already had a very clear idea of what they needed to kind of show. I mean, it was very useful, so I'd recommend doing a script reading session before the shoot because it can save a lot of time, a lot of your time. So, production. The shot that we're doing at the moment is the shot. We're going to have half of the mirror in shot and half of Billy in shot, so the way that it's going to go is as Billy's walking towards the mirror and as he's walking out of the room, it's going to be kind of like he's going into a world which he doesn't actually really want to be in, which is stealing stuff, and he just does not want to be going into that kind of situation, so kind of a little bit of
metaphors
behind that. Okay, this took 3 nights in total. It was 8 p.m. until 3 to 4 a.m. So it was a night shoot, and oh boy, if there's the option to do it in the daytime, do it in the daytime, because obviously people work a lot better in the daytime, and in the nighttime you're constantly trying to, you know, get everybody reared up to like go, and like lots of coffee and lots of energy drinks and lots of snacks. So the cameras we used was a red Scarlett. It was absolutely glorious. It was so beautiful. And for the glide cam shot, we used the A7S simply because we needed something light to put on the glide cam, because that was the only glide cam that we could get access to. And for that shot, it was a very difficult shot to light. There were so many rooms that we had to light up, but so effectively he just had to walk backwards through the entire thing. So literally, this is how we do it. It's just me standing behind Oggy, just walking behind him, and we didn't need any sound at that point, so there's a lot of direction of me saying to Oggy like, oh, mind out, there's a step there, and oh. For the lighting, because it's a night shoot and because we wanted to give it off that kind of, yeah, nighttime effect, like there's obviously not that many lights on in the actual house, so we basically had to put all of the lighting outside coming in through the windows, and that basically just required a lot of 300 watt lights and one 1K light, which was just pointing in through the window to kind of represent moonlight. Okay, so the way that we made the light splicker, I get a lot of questions about that, like, literally just had like an adapter with those little switch things on it, and it's just me or sitting beside the lights going and just turning them on and off. That's literally all we did. So here's a small montage of the highlights of my actors across the 3 nights.
Sorry, man. No.
Awesome.
Hashtag robbery.
You gonna improvise anything else for me now?
Are you filming again?
Yeah.
Spend some time on my brain! Stop following me. Oh, the top, sorry.
Pennies, guys.
Cut! That's good. That's good. Here's a few of the problems that we ran into. Okay, so the first one on the first night was that the actors were coming from London. They had to go obviously down big motorways, so they showed up like 1 hour late. So literally as soon as they got here, they dumped their stuff. They put on like a tiny little bit of makeup. Obviously we had everything set up ready for them, so once they got here we were like, action! One of my questions when I was doing the Skype auditions was, are you scared of heights, and would you be okay with climbing up a ladder and going through an upstairs window? And obviously all of them said yes, but basically on the night it turned out that David was a little bit scared of heights. So basically when I asked him to climb up the ladder, he was like, oh, I don't want to climb up the ladder, oh god, that's really high, and you know, complaining a bit. And I was like, you told me you'd be okay with this, and he was like, yeah, but I wanted the job. But basically in the end I kind of just said to him, look, if you really don't want to do it, you don't have to. I'm not going to force you to. If you can, then that would be great. And he turned out that he could. Sometimes actors will lie to you to get the job, is the moral of that story. So the third bit was obviously the bit where we had to throw the shit onto Billy's face. That took ages and that took so many takes.
What?
The moment that it actually managed to hit his face in an okay spot, I think the entire crew kind of went shh! And then after the shot, we all went, yeah, that's the one! The fourth point was when we were filming the dog scene with my dog Cassie upstairs in the bed. It took about 7 takes simply because me and the assistant director Matt, we just could not stop laughing. Can't do this inside. Right, cut. Okay, we're gonna have to cut that. It was so funny that we actually had to leave the room. The fifth problem was obviously sound peaking, and because of the characters speaking at different volumes and obviously Jay shouting at Billy while Billy is being really quiet, it was gonna make the sound peak a lot, so we basically just had to do different takes of almost the exact same thing. The sixth problem was the Red camera's battery broke, and so obviously there was like a single moment where it broke. Everybody kind of froze on the shoot and we were like, and then he brought out the AC cable and we were like, oh thank god! Welcome to the behind the scenes of Fairy Lights in the Doorway. Everything's good, Tom.
It's good, my camera.
It's going good. The seventh point was, turned out that the slider didn't work with the Red camera because the Red camera was too heavy, and all of my shots that night were slider shots. And I kind of literally just needed like 5 minutes to think about what the hell I was going to do, because the slider would like put emotion into the shot, and like I kind of went and sat in a dark room by myself for a bit, and then my assistant director Matt comes in with a coffee and goes, we can talk about this, it's gonna be fine. And I'm like, I love you so much. I'm gonna start off with
what I'm doing.
Okay, so for post-production, post-production took almost 4 months. It took me a very long time to actually get the thing finished, but that's simply because when I was editing it, I just had to keep on tweaking it and cutting it shorter and shorter and removing like a few shots and stuff and removing, yeah, I mean, it's my baby, so obviously it was hard, but basically just kept on sending it to people, asking how can I make it better, how can I make the comedy aspect of it better in the editing, and basically just cutting it down until I got like a final edit which I was properly happy with, and I was properly happy with it. And then I sent it off to get sound design on it, and Dan did a fantastic job with that. I mean, the way that happened was I gave him rough timings of where I wanted the sound effects to be in place and what I wanted to be in place. And then he was just like, I got this. And he just went off and made magic with the sound. And even the bit where they are walking outside that had no sound before, that was completely quiet. And look at it. It's perfect. And then at the same time I basically got the music done, and James Morris did the music. I put Fairy Lights in the Doorway up on Indiegogo, and then I got a message from him coming to me saying, do you want me to do the music for it, because it sounds like quite an interesting project? And I was like, yes. I gave him the rough kind of thing, what I wanted, like I told him I wanted Thomas Newman kind of thing, and he just made like a perfect soundtrack. So that is the behind the scenes. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching my film, and thanks for liking it. Cheers.